Wait, the lights went out. What the hell's going on? Oh my god, it's a Shield. The Shield is attacking The Rock. It was a Shield, Mike Chioda. Shut up, you stooge. Remember when JBL actually contributed something positive to WWE programming? Those were the days. But nevertheless, we are on the road to WrestleMania 29 for twice in a lifetime. Vince McMahon, you lying sack of shit. You're gonna go to hell for lying. And only that. Not for the numerous other things you did, but nevertheless, I'm John Renton with the Retro View WWE Royal Rumble 2013. In Phoenix, Arizona, The Rock's mother and daughter, the future Ava Raine, were in attendance, along with 15,000 other fans to watch. A card that actually, on paper, didn't look all that bad, and in execution had moments, but 2013 was a really, really, really weird year for WWE. It started with CM Punk as WWE Champion, going into 434 days, of an accumulative reign, and then unfortunately, by WrestleMania 29, he was facing The Undertaker in the best match on the show. In fact, they stole the show, but it was petty theft because WrestleMania 29 wasn't all that good. It was a step or two above WrestleMania 27, but then again, I've shat things out that were better than WrestleMania 27. But this is sort of I guess, a turning point for WWE. Things would get a little bit better by the end of 2013 because I was at the Slammy Awards where they did the championship ascension ceremony and Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan. But, that was at the end of the year. This is at pretty much the beginning of the year, even though we were near the end of January 2013. Unfortunately, CM Punk thought he got away with, retaining his WWE Championship. But unfortunately, alas, no. We had to go with twice in the goddamn lifetime. And there are a few cool things about this particular Rumble. It actually did well as far as pay-per-view buys because this was a year and change before the WWE Network. 512,000 pay-per-view buys, up from the 443,000 of 2012. But they had 3K less fans. And I think, honestly, in St. Louis, I think that was a bit of a bigger venue. Like, they had pretty much a sellout there in Phoenix. But in 2014, it still did better than, that edition, which was 467,000 buys. And they had just about the same amount of fans, maybe about 500 more. And that was in Pittsburgh. The ill-fated one where Batista won and the crowd just said, bullshit, we're going to boo everything. So we get the package on The Rock. We get the tremendous package of Dwayne's Rock Hard Johnson against CM Punk. And then also the Rumble. And the weird setup. They had these weird lighting grid things that went down like this. It wasn't like the backlash, swingy, back and forth, slicey deals. So the pre-show match, by the way, was Antonio Cesaro defending the United States Championship against The Miz. Remember when Cesaro had a first name? I know, right? Alberto Del Rio was a face. It was a bit weird, but of course, we already know that. He was backstage, and Ricardo was like, oh my god, and it was Bret Hart. Popping big for Bret Hart, my favorite wrestler of all time, and Bret saying, you remind me of a Mexican Bret Hart. You remind me of a Canadian Alberto Del Rio. Remember when Alberto Del Rio was a face and it made absolutely no sense and they turned him, I think, by, what was it, Payback 2013? I think he was a face for all of 7 months. So he had beaten Big Show recently for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this was the last man standing match against the Big Show. This match was okay in parts. They did some cool stuff, but it also went like 17, 18 minutes. And that was not good. Cole, JBL, and Lawler calling the action. And this just wasn't good. And Lawler, I believe, had just returned recently after having his, cardiac arrest incident. Live on a Raw taping. I mean, that was very, very alarming. I remember watching that one live. And I'm sorry, just Del Rio's, his face run is just so weird. The ring sounded weird also. I don't know if they padded it weird or set it up weird or whatever, but it echoed strangely. They fixed it a little bit later, but nevertheless, they ended up doing some good stuff, using a chair, using some action, some good, furniture spots. They didn't make it all about furniture. They actually built to those spots, which made sense. They go to that weird lighting grid thing where it wasn't, it was like just like this. They were all leaning all like this and whatever. And Big Show pulls off a light tube, a light tubing, apparatus, not like a box-like structure, and hits Del Rio with it. They set up a table. He gets on this clearly, enhanced or, structurally enhanced part of the apparatus and hurls Del Rio in a chokeslam through the table, but Del Rio gets back up. Ricardo got laid out, and then we get a barricade bump. We get numerous chair shots, and then, they get the cross arm breaker, and Ricardo wraps the tape around Big Show's feet so he can't answer the 10 count, and Alberto Del Rio wins. So there you go. That was a bit of a weird moment. Remember when Matt Stryker was a backstage interviewer after they decided he wasn't a very good commentator? I don't think he was a terrible commentator. I just don't think he fit the WWE style. AJ Lee, Dolph with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Big E Langston. Yes, remember when Big E had a last name? There was one point where Stryker kept angering, and this is when AJ Lee was the crazy part of her, had the crazy part of her career, and I put in quotations because she has come out having, said that she was really, had really a bad mental health state at that point and deals with that every day. That's why I want to be nice when I say that. But she played the insane woman well as far as an on-screen character. I'm really trying to tread lightly here. Let's move on. But Matt Stryker's like, well, what if you can't win from the number one position? And then AJ Lee gets in his face and everything and does like this and shuts him open. And I'm like, I wish I was Matt Stryker right there. So moving on. We get promos from various people, pre-taped stuff that just like bleeds from one to the next. Antonio Cesaro, the Primetime Players, which, by the way, for people that maybe are newer WWE fans and don't remember stuff from this point, which was 10 years ago, I was 32 years old when this pay-per-view came out. That's right, it was a pay-per-view, not a premium live event. The Primetime Players were Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, who is now the future Fred Rosser, or the current Fred Rosser, not the future Fred. He's obviously going to be the future Fred Rosser if he wants to be. Orton, Wade Barrett, back when Wade Barrett wrestled, Cena, Sheamus, Ryback, and I'm sure there were some other people, but I just didn't bother to care. Team Rhodes Scholars. Cody Rhodes, Cody's Mustache, co-starring Cody Rhodes, and Damian Sandow against Team Hell No, Kane and Daniel Bryan. His WWE Tag Team Championship match, it was fine. It was fine. Man, Cody's mustache. Remember when Cody had a mustache, and that's what they tried to make his gimmick about? The Yes Lock tapped out Sandow. There isn't much to note about this. The Rumble number rundown. Why was Vicky Guerrero ever here? God, Eddie. God, I wish Eddie was still here and Vicky could have taken his place. Team Hell No has numbers, and, well, Brian showed Kane his. Well, I show you mine, you show me yours, and then we get dick chokes aplenty. It's funny. And then we get WWE PR shit. We get anti-bullying stuff and everything because philanthropy is the future of marketing. It's the way brands are going to win. That was something Stephanie McMahon tweeted. I will forever save that screenshot to remind you she is a lying bitch, just like her dad. The Rumble match, not the main event. I mean, it sort of made sense, but it also sort of telegraphed what was going to... I mean, had they flip-flopped it, it would have telegraphed it anyway. Ziggler and Jericho were 1 and 2. Jericho came back after having his contract taken away the night after SummerSlam 2012 to be written off. Ziggler lasted nearly 50 minutes. Jericho lasted about 47. Cody came in at number 3, lasted about 27 minutes. Kofi came in at number 4, lasted about 22. Everybody else, by the way, until like Sheamus, lasted at most 15 minutes. Jericho got a big pop. Remember when Jericho contributed positive things to wrestling? Those certainly were the days. Drew McIntyre, when he was part of 3MB, came in at number 6. David Otunga wrestled on this. I remember when David Otunga wrestled. I can't really tell you much about his wrestling ability. He wasn't bad, but there you go. Slater came in at number 10. Heath Slater. And now he lasted about almost 16 minutes. Sheamus, the previous year's winner, came in at number 11. Lasted 37 minutes. And immediately eliminates Titus and somebody else. I'm trying to remember. But he eliminated 2 black men right away. Aha! Hate crimes in Phoenix. News at 11. Brodus Clay, now Tyrus, now the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion, further proving how the NWA has just fallen into a goddamn pit despite the great talent they have. He was better as a comedy goof because he's a fucking goof. Listen to the guy talk. Anybody that is a drooling vegetable talks better than him. Ray came in a little bit later on. The big men got eliminated, including Tenzai and Brodus Clay. Tenzai, who was Albert. They thought Lord Tenzai was a great idea, and people kept saying, Albert, Albert, because he was recognizable. Kofi uses an office chair to get back to the ring and then immediately gets eliminated. One of many great ways that Kofi avoid elimination. Bo Dallas, before he believed, won a tournament, I believe, on the Rumble weekend, or during the Rumble weekend, and lasted 21 minutes and ended up eliminating Wade Barrett later. That's the only contribution. I mean, he lasted quite a bit and only eliminated one guy. Godfather came in at number 17, and he was gone right away. Everybody has shut the review off now, so I am talking to nobody. Cena at number 19, he gets a pop. Sandow at number 20. They had people working twice, like Bryan, and then Kane came in. And Great Khali came in at number 23. One thing I noticed is Khali's gear showcased that he basically had the Hank Hill syndrome, where he had no ass. He was minus an ass. Jinder was in at number 27. Yeah, Jinder got eliminated quickly. Thank fuck. Good thing they never gave Jinder a title. Oh, fuck. Anyway, so Miz was in at 28, attacked Antonio Cesaro because he hurt his ankle during the whole pre-show match. Sin Cara at 29. Ryback at number 30. Eliminated 5 people. Remember when Ryback was over? Remember when he was really, really over? Yeah, that lasted, a year? By the time he got done with that feud with Cena, he was toast. He was totally toast. I thought the heel turn could have worked, but he should have beaten Mark Henry at Mania 29. I mean, granted, Cena got the most out of Ryback that he could. Ryback couldn't work, but he looked impressive. That's about it. So, Cena eliminated Ryback at the end to a mixture of cheers and boos. And partly people wanting to drink because they bet on somebody other than Cena winning the Rumble, which I don't know why you'd bet on wrestling. I'm not going to knock you guys if you do, but betting on the NFL, UFC, betting on stuff like that is a bit smarter, because there's a working method there, but there's much more of a working method with wrestling because it's predetermined, not fake. Never going to say that, but predetermined. So anyway, Rock promo, he talks about adversity, my hand is touching your hand, channeling Dusty Rhodes and his mother surviving cancer, and doing everything he can to get the crowd on his side. This is a very, very weird run for Rock. And then we have Punk versus Rock for the WWE Championship. Heyman in the corner of Punk. If the Shield interfered, then Punk would be stripped of the championship. Okay, Punk comes out first. Of course the champ comes out first. Why wouldn't he? That always happens. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Just in these cases. Rock gets a pop. That being said, though, there were a lot of cheers for CM Punk. Fans did not want to see Rock win. Now, some did, because they popped at the end. This match was okay. Rock's conditioning, because even though he was in tremendous, physical shape looking at him, he wasn't going to be having a ton of matches. He wasn't going to be able to have a ton of, he wasn't going to be able to put a ton in without his opponent, helping slow him down, pacing, stuff like that. And that's why he had been taken out by the Shield a bit before, like on previous week's TV or a couple weeks ago. And he had internal bleeding and anal bleeding. What? Wow. But he got targeted. His ribs got targeted. He eventually did fire back. Heyman interfered. He got laid out. And then he went for the people's elbow. And then, baby, when the lights go out, as 5 once said. If you guys get that, I love you guys. Everybody get up. It's the Shield. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's just 3 of them. And there you go. So the Shield lay him out, and then it's like, it's Kyoto, it was the Shield. Shut up, you stooge. And then Punk gets Rock back in because he's like, I had nothing to do with that. Rock's laid out on the announcer's table, rolls him in. 1, 2, 3. And he's celebrating, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I remember watching this on pay-per-view and thinking, okay, I'm like, oh, maybe they're waiting way too long on this. They're waiting way too long on this. If they had just faded with the credits, it would have been fine. Vince shows up and says, I said if the Shield interfered, you'd be stripped. Well, we didn't see the Shield, but we're not stupid, so CM Punk is my duty. No, Vince, says The Rock, you're not going to do that. Restart the match. Okay, so they do. Punk goes for the sky elbow, gets a 2 count. And then eventually, Spinebuster, People's Elbow. 1, 2, 3. Rock is the new WWE champion and has his second longest run with the title. I believe he's a 7 or 8 time champion. I forget the exact number. That's his second longest run. From the Royal Rumble 2013 to Mania 29. Second longest run. His longest run was from King of the Ring 2000 to No Mercy 2000. Every other run was pretty goddamn short. Look it up. Look it up if you don't believe me. I mean, if I'm lying, I'm flying, and my feet still have not left the ground. So I will say that it got a pop, but the thing is, once Cena won the Rumble, it telegraphed The Rock was going to win, but if they had flipped it and Rock had won, then it would have telegraphed that Cena would have won the Rumble. They really should have found a way to just do that finish, go with Punk as champion into Mania 29, because Rock didn't need to be the champion. You could have done a triple threat. You could have found somebody else for Undertaker to face. And then if Punk had gotten beaten, guess what? Rock wouldn't have needed another championship run. Cena would have gotten his run. Punk would have had 500 days, or at least close to it, if I remember right. And there you go. But no, they had to do that. And unfortunately, it ended up leading to a bit of a downturn as far as how Punk felt about the company, which I don't blame him necessarily. That being said, they thought that lightning would strike twice with The Rock and Cena. It didn't. They did well, it just didn't do nearly as well as Mania 28 did the year prior. That being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.